Hey everybody, and welcome to another show. You just caught us hearing some very weird noises, and we do not know what they were. But how are you, my friend? Fernando is with us all the way in Florida.
Oh yeah, and finally within my little studio, I've been, since you guys know, for the past couple of recordings, I've been doing the car chronicles. But yeah, we are doing pretty good. Pretty stoked to start recording from my studio again. So yeah, so far so good.
How's things going with Strangers' Minds? Are you getting more stuff put together for that?
Thankfully, before I started the car chronicles, is because I had summer vacation, and my son came out from New York. I recorded a bunch of videos just to have like a good backlog, so I could not leave my subscribers hanging with nothing. So, but yeah, I'm finally recording new content right now. So those will be coming out more so throughout the weeks, throughout the days.
Well, hopefully that's the plan for us tonight, because next weekend is a big weekend over here. We are medievaling it, so I won't be available to record next weekend, so we will try and record 2 tonight. So we will be wearing the same clothes, not 2 weeks in a row, but we will be recording. So yes, the news this week. Fernando had something that he wanted to really talk about, didn't you?
Well, on TikTok, I've been scrolling, then I came across this one video, which, it kind of sits within our realm of conversation. And it was about a UFO that seems to have a directory coming towards Earth.
Trajectory.
Specifically, trajectory. Those are kind of one of the words that my tongue can't pronounce. But supposedly it's directory, trajectory.
Yeah.
It's apparently with this video. I wish I could find it and show you guys, but it's gonna be like showing up right behind the sun of some sorts. So it's basically almost like a security camera. There's a blind spot, and we don't have nothing behind the sun. So but yeah, I just found it very interesting, and since it's part of our topics, I even found a bit of a article here about it.
Well, from what I know, anyway, the origins of this object are in question. Now, it is, from what I believe, from what I've been reading anyway, that it is the third interstellar object which has entered our solar system in recent history. Now, the one that has entered previously, which I'm going to completely make a dog's balls out of the pronunciation, is Oumuamua. Oumuamua. Anyway, if you start Googling something weird like that, I'm pretty sure you'll find a giant space rock. And that was supposed to be very weird. Now, the object that Fernando is talking about it's got a classification of 3I something or other, a whole load of, numbers and stuff, but it has been named Atlas. And what is making waves about this one in particularly is one specific Harvard scientist is saying that its motion and everything about it is displaying very unnatural tendencies, and he actually said out loud that it could be an alien spacecraft on a direct trajectory towards Earth, and that is what is going on. So I actually put a thing up about this last week in the WAPA page, and it sparked up a little bit of conversation. In fact, I'm recording another episode of Static Echoes, which is the other podcast next week, and we're going to be talking about the same subject, but from a slightly different perspective. But yeah, Fernando is very keen on this one, and funny enough, I actually posted something on the Wapper page just earlier tonight about this as well, this afternoon about this, and there's a whole load of facts on there about it, which are unnatural and which are not something, because basically it's been described as a comet type object, but what they're picking up on the visual, on the telescopes that they're watching it with, are very unnatural and very uncomety behavior. So
Yeah.
what is it?
Yeah. And apparently they even have a date of appearance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to read this little article just so we could throw it out there. In October 2025, but to my understanding with the video, it's possibly going to be within the week of my birthday. So, hey, an interstellar object called 3i Atlas will make its closest approach to the sun. Discovered by NASA-funded telescope in Chile, it was initially identified as an unknown asteroid before being confirmed as an asteroid with origins outside our solar system. Some scientists have controversially suggested the possibility of it being extraterrestrial technology. You know what? Since we're on the subject of aliens, just like us, we have HDAD or whatever, you know. But I've been wanting I've been wanting to show you guys this because we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, even with Jeremy, and it looks like a freaking alien, but it is hitting waves like no other. And I'm talking about the Labubu. Do you see the Labubu?
No, you're about that big on my computer screen at the moment.
So Vanessa, my girlfriend, she ended up getting a Stranger's Mind Labubu. So yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I had to just show it. But anyway, back sometimes blah, 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 blah. Though extraterrestrial, I just lost my but talking about Harvard, the Harvard scientist has proposed the possibility of it being an alien probe, advocating for further investigation. But the thing is that, you know, in the video, it was talking about how massive this thing is because the new was
Oumuamua or something. Yeah, we'll go with
that. It was what, like the size of a state, I believe they were saying.
No, it wasn't that.
Or a football, but this one is that is bigger. This one is apparently like a massive.
One of them was the size of the Empire State Building, and the other one is a few kilometers size. It's bigger than that. Yeah, it's probably about the size of, I don't know, Manhattan Island or one of those islands.
So yeah, I've long said that, and this might sound a bit morbid or crazy, for lack of a better word. But before I go, I would love to have an instance of like Independence Day.
Jeez. Righto.
Like, you know, there's no shot of a doubt we're being visited. They're like huge, crazy, like Mars Attack, the movie. Do you remember that?
Me.
like Mars Attack, whereas, you know, there's a huge screen, you know, in the flat in the middle of Manhattan with the big famous screen of Manhattan, and it's just a message coming through from a alien source, and you know, and of being visited, seeing these things coming down from the sky, you know.
It's funny you should say that, because you know what I've got planned for the start of this next episode on Static Echoes. I was just telling you about that, and it's very much along those sort of lines.
I can't wait to hear it. by the way, talking about static echoes, I finished that episode with the truck driver.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it took me 3 drives going and coming back to work and a shower to finish it all. But wow, that was it was so freaking interesting. It just had me completely hooked. Completely hooked.
Yeah, he's we're actually going to have him on again at some point soon, so I might even set up a bit of a cross lines communication kind of episode, and you can have a chat with him as well.
Oh, we're going to do a 3-way? Cool.
You can always get Ray in as well and make it a foursome. Doink, there goes the microphone.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Yeah, man. So when I came across this, I was like, oh man, I wonder if you guys know about it, because this is pretty interesting and exciting. Hopefully sometime soon in our lifetime, at least, we'll finally get to talk to ET.
Well, I mean, okay, so while we're talking about this kind of things in space and everything, there's been a lot happen in that kind of space over the last few months. Now, remember how originally there were 9 planets in our solar system, and then a couple of them were declassified as planets? Well,
Yeah, by Degrassi.
yeah. Well, there is a new planet which has been discovered, which has been classified as a planet. It's approximately 5 times the size of Earth. That big. And every single piece of the description, it's been visually sighted. It's on a long way out kind of orbit. Everything about it matches what we know about Nibiru. So that brings back into life the whole thing about the Anunnaki, about the giants, about the Nephilim. And there's going to be a lot more, I would assume, over the next few years about that once more information comes about it, because apparently the orbit that it's on, it is heading back towards us, even though it's a very long way out. It is heading back in our direction. So we've got this other planet which could potentially have life on it. Because you've got to remember, if a planet's about 5 times the size of our planet, the gravity is going to be 5 times as strong, which means the beings that live upon it are going to have to be bigger and stronger to survive that planet. So when they come, if they were to come across to Earth, they would be giants and they would be very strong.
Jeez.
So that brings a lot into that. Now, going back to Atlas. Yes, I can't pronounce the guy's name. It's a simple name, but it's a weird one. The guy from Harvard, he's postulating that this could be an alien craft coming on a close flyby to see what we're up to and what's going on. So that begs the question, do they actually know we're here? Or are we are they just on a coincidental pass? Or is it just another space rock which is displaying some very weird behavior?
Yeah, for sure. And just to put it out there, it is the distance of this right now. It is 150 million miles from our planet. But it will be apparently the closest would be the sun, to which we would be able maybe to get a better picture of it.
Okay.
But they're trying. But they're saying that if it's an asteroid, it doesn't have the characteristics of an asteroid
Yeah.
because it's basically either a huge chunk of frozen rock, but this has characteristics of another sort of shiny material, apparently.
Well, what they're saying is that it doesn't give off. There's no trail behind it, which is what you would normally see from an asteroid or a comet. The light,
That too.
the light which is happening from it is coming from the wrong side. And then there are these other little things that are coming off, which almost look like they've described it as like a dust. And in layman's terms, it looks like some sort of propulsion system, which is why he is saying this looks more like a actual spacecraft opposed to a naturally occurring rock. Now, we like to bring in all different movies and different TV shows and things like that in because pretty much anything that we talk about, somebody's done some kind of a show on it. Now, you can look at Stargate Atlantis. Not Stargate, Stargate Universe, I apologize. They landed on a ship which it's visiting planets which the ancients seeded many, many, many years ago, just on autopilot. There's nobody aboard it. So is this one of those kind of situations? Then you go into things like Alien Prometheus, where the I can't remember if they call them the creators or whoever they were, the architects, the engineers. I'm not sure what they were called, but they would seed a planet and let nature take its course, and life would come forth from there. Are these people of that kind of thing? This is all obviously if it is some kind of an artificial structure. And then there are other people turning around and saying that, and I don't know if it's heading in the same direction as where Voyager headed off, because Voyager's off Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, I think, are both into interstellar space now. They've left our solar system. And they're still, as far as we know, sending out those messages, telling everybody where we are, which is the stupidest thing to do, realistically, when you think about it. And not only telling them where we are, what we look like, what we're all about, what our technological understanding of mathematics was back in the 70s. And if they've got a better star system, star chart system to what we have, maybe they've sent this thing by to have a look. That's assuming, of course, that the moon isn't actually a big space station and they're watching from there.
Oh, man. The moon. I recall us talking about that also.
Yeah, well, we can do that in a different one. But I just thought, now you brought this subject up about objects coming close to Earth. Have you heard about the big one, which is coming in about 4 years' time?
4 years? No,
yeah.
I haven't heard about that one.
Now, it's a little bit iffy because depending on the source, some say 2029 and some say 2035. So anywhere in between that, there is a comet, which is of absolutely massive size. It's not a planet killer, but it is a definite city killer and possibly a country killer. It's that big, but it will definitely affect the entire planet in relation to life. It will change everything. But what they're saying is this object, it's been mapped out. They've done all of the different simulations. It's going to come that close to Earth that at its peak, it's going to look like a second sun in the sky. And as it reaches at the apex, we're going to have satellites further out than this object. Now, it's going to come within 19,000 kilometers of Earth's surface. Remembering that the moon is 365,000 kilometers away or miles away. It's 19,000. It's just almost bounce off our atmosphere. Now,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a little bit further out than that, but where I'm going at with this is they've done the math, and all it takes is for it to come into proximity with a couple of little things that can nudge the gravitational field and change its course by just a very micro amount. That could mean the difference between it actually hitting Earth, actually puncturing through our atmosphere and creating a massive hole which will vent air, which means we'll lose our capability of breathing, or whether it just whizzes on straight past. And because of the possibilities, this one's being called Apophis.
Apophis.
Yep.
Jeez.
So that one's a pretty scary one to look at. Obviously, there's no talk about this one being artificial or anything like that. This one is just
a comet.
a comet. But I think this one is also an interstellar visitor as well. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But isn't it interesting how all of a sudden we are getting a lot of attention from these different things?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it almost feels like and mind you, I'm not one that I would just gradually research flying objects. But it almost feels like when the U.S. government apparently, finally told the public about that aliens are real. Do you remember this? I think it was like sometime last year or a couple of months ago.
Well,
they actually went on television. Meeting? Yeah, the congressional meeting. Yeah. It feels like there's more of all of this stuff happening. But also, I recall having a very vivid dream. And I recall that I was with my family and we were like in a park, or you know what, like a water park, because I recall seeing like there was like a pool or something like this. But we were just having a conversation. I don't recall the conversation. And we started hearing like people, kind of like screaming.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was trying to find, where the source was coming from with the screaming, and I saw people looking up, and then when I look up towards the sky, it looked like a huge rock was just coming closer and closer to us until it basically just, I woke up. So, yeah, this everything seems, kind of spontaneous. Like everything's just coming out as far as this is concerned. But
speaking of
here's
dreams,
a thought that just ran through. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, speaking of dreams, have you ever had one of those dreams that is so realistic that you actually wake up thinking, did that actually happen? Even though it couldn't possibly happen, you actually question it. It's that realistic. Have you ever had one of them?
Hell yeah. I actually had one that I was flying and I wanted to like test it.
No. The reason I'm saying that is because I had one. I've had it the exact same one. I think on 3 different occasions now. It's not. Oh, I don't know how to describe this, but I was out with my wife. It was a night time, but it's in a place that you don't know. But within the dream, it was a familiar place, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful, clear night. And I just remember we were walking around, we were looking up at the stars, which is what we do that quite a bit. In fact, we're doing that tomorrow night. We're going out sky watching tomorrow night. And what was interesting was I saw these stars which didn't look quite right. And then they were moving. So I go, oh, it's a UFO. But then it was almost like a spaceship type thing, not with all the lights that you see in Star Trek or something like that. It was dark. It was like a dark grey. It was menacing. And you could see like fighters flying up stuff like that. You know, our guys going up. And it's very weird because then there's another one and there's another one. Before you know it, the sky is full of these things. And people on the surface are going into a panic and starting to run in all these different directions. And you get caught up in that. It's like, shit, what do we do? You know, what do we do? It's obviously then there are shadows that are moving in just out of sight. So you know there's something down there with you, but you don't know what it is because your automatic instinct is going to hide inside or hide deep down so that they can't see you or get to you. But then when you see these things moving around, never see what they look like, just a quick dart of a shadow and stuff like that. So you know we are being hunted. But I always wake up and it's always before I actually find anything out about it. And then no control over it. But when it starts again the next time, which might not be for months or years, because this has happened. I've had this same one over several years. And yeah, it's a creepy kind of feeling. I don't know if other people are having similar kind of dreams and things like that. You know, how basically our mind is a natural computer. So we can download things, you know, potentially things can be uploaded. It's all electronic signals and stuff like that. Do you think we have beings among us that are projecting these signals out and getting everybody ready for the idea? You know, programming us, getting us ready for disclosure. Forget the government. Our governments are never going to come clean, even though they've pretty much given us everything that we need to know. I don't think they are ever going to turn around and say, we have a crashed alien spaceship, or we can tell you 100% aliens are real, they have visited. They're never going to do that, which is weird because I think there's more people believe that they have been here now than there are people that don't believe.
Yeah, the shift has definitely changed.
Yeah. And it might take something like this to come past to really make people think, you know.
Man, I mean, the other night, for the first time ever, actually Tuesday, when I went to drive my son to the airport, it was still dark. We were up like at 4:00 in the morning due to his flight. But while I was waiting for him, I was outside in the car, just waiting for him to come out. And I was just looking up in the sky because it was clear.
Yeah.
For the first time, I'm not saying it's anything. It could be shooting stars, but I was seeing things falling from the sky from here and there. And I was like, I am 42 years old. How did I go my whole entire life without experiencing this ever?
Yeah. Well,
so it is
for
interesting.
Me, it was that very thing that got me interested in this whole paranormal, supernatural, weird fringe stuff right at a very early age of about 7 or 8 years old.
Man. Yeah. All of within the paranormal field, because, you know, UFOs, cryptids, all of this is paranormal. It's not just ghouls and goblins. It is due to an experience. And it's freaking amazing.
Yep.
It is amazing. The uncertainty of certain things, it sparks the curiosity within the minds of us.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many. What they say is kids are a sponge, okay? They're open to everything, and then it's the people around them that shape, you know, you don't believe in this, don't believe in that. You know, that's why how much power and how much do you actually put into imaginary friends of kids? You know, is there more to it? They can see things. Their ears are better, pick up more frequencies. Their eyes are better. They see more of the visual spectrum, the visual light spectrum. So they could be seeing and hearing things that an adult just simply can't see and hear. And it becomes tucked away as an imaginary object. Why is it that it can't be the same for alien species? Remember, we only see in the visual light spectrum. We have cameras that can see infrared and can see ultraviolet. But there are frequencies even higher and lower than ultraviolet and infrared, right? Why can't there be the possibility of an alien species already living here on Earth that is only visible in those light spectrums and heard in those audio frequencies that we can't see, we can't hear? Why can't they exist? We can't see them, so they don't exist. You know, we've got creatures that have been found living on crashed meteorites and things like that. I can't remember, the tardigrades or whatever they call them, the little microscopic things. What happens is they're dormant while they're up in space on the comets and on the asteroids and on the meteorites and things like that. When they crash to a planet which has got a warm atmosphere, they come out of their hibernation and then they start to multiply. That's one of the theories of how life was created on Earth and everywhere else. So if they can exist in a as toxic or as inhospitable environment as space, or in the deepest parts of the oceans down in the Mariana Trench where we can't even get to the bottom, and these things can exist in these massive pressures or ridiculous cold. Some of these things have been heated up to 800 degrees Celsius. It would burn us to pieces. When they've cooled down, these things have still been alive. All right? If you've got something that's capable of doing that, and then the potential that their skin, their bodies are only visible within certain light frequencies because it'll be a color or something like that which we don't understand, we can't perceive. We only work off the light spectrum, the color wheel and all of that. Who are we to say that they aren't already here? Mass becomes a bit of an issue because obviously if you don't see them, you can't hear them. If they've still got mass, you're still going to bump into them. But what if they're also just slightly out of phase with us, which has been looked into by Stephen King when he did that show, The Langoliers. Everything's about a second or two out of whack with us. So we never come into contact with them because they're always half a second in a different direction, which means we can't see them as well.
That is a wild theory. I love it. I love it. Jeez.
On that,
did you just create like a superhero?
Hey?
It sounds like you just created like a superhero character.
It could also be a ridiculous horror film as well.
Jeez.
Because they could have entire armies. They could have weapons that we've never even conceived of. And all it takes is for them to flick a switch to take them into phase with us. We don't have to worry about spaceships popping down. Suddenly they're right beside you, all over the planet. Bang, everybody's dead. They've taken control. That's the frightening
surprise, mother.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Anyway, on that, I think it's time for us to go.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Just in case you guys, if you guys are more interested with this UFO that's about to show up in a couple of months' time for my birthday.
Yeah.
Atlas, you guys could go on the NASA website and they have all the information there.
It is a very real thing. This isn't something that we're making up just to do a podcast on. It is legitimately a very real thing. So it's definitely worth looking into. I mean, as Ray said, there's not enough information to form a hypothesis on what it actually is because it's so far out at the moment, but it's coming in at a very fast speed. It won't take long before we can start to lock in a few of these theories.
And just look up and notice something in the sky.
Well, yeah, exactly. So anyway, on that very bright and cheery thought, it's time for us to go.
All right, guys, have a good one. Thanks for listening.
Until next time, take it easy, peeps.